If you haven't noticed lately, nature is speaking out to us. It appears that our planet is spiraling out of control, influenced by cosmic forces which are having a profound effect upon the inner core of the Earth, and thus affecting the Earth's magnetic field, allowing harmful radiation to permeate the Earth's atmosphere and subsequently endangering the health of the Earth's inhabitants. It's what we would call the domino effect, in which one concrete object is responsible for the collapse of all other objects in its path. Let's consider some major events that recently took place that should stoke your curiosity about a world that systematically shows many of the signs of being on the edge of collapse. Earthquakes are one of the major events making news in recent days. As a matter of fact, in the past 30 days, there have been dozens of significant earthquakes along the Ring of Fire. On December 9th, two enormous quakes on opposite sides of the Pacific made headlines across the globe. The first was a 6.5 quake off the coast of California, followed later in the day by a massive 7.8 quake in the Solomon Islands. These are just the latest examples of increased activity along the outer perimeter of the Pacific Basin. According to the Washington Post, the historic earthquake in the Solomon Islands was determined as an 8.0 by the USGS, but was later downgraded to a 7.8. This was followed by 20 large aftershocks ranging in size from 4.8 to 6.5. Of even greater concern was the indication that this event shook the entire planet to some extent, since monitoring stations around the world experienced strange vibrations as one seismic event after another shook the Solomon Islands, similar to the domino effect that I just mentioned. Now take a look at the magnitude of the Solomon Islands earthquake shown in this surveillance videotape as people try to escape harm's way. Prior to this big event, an event in similarity occurred off the coast of California. Those living in the area reported the ground was rippling like waves on the water. A recent study by federal, state, and academic researchers indicates that the San Andreas Fault could soon unzip all at once, unleashing a singular catastrophe along its 800-mile stretch, which should cause alarm bells to start ringing in our collective subconscious. As it turns out, the San Andreas Fault is way overdue for an earthquake of historic proportions. The director of the Southern California Earthquake Center has said that the fault is wound like a tight spring, locked, loaded, and ready to go. Just one of several trouble spots in the seismic zone known as the crust of our planet has become increasingly unstable, and far too many people have become complacent and have been lulled into a false sense of security about these disasters simply because they have not witnessed them personally. But when it does happen, and every indication is that it will forever change the lives of millions of people in a single moment. I have spoken volumes about the severity and serious implications of major flooding across our planet. It has become a global crisis. The warming of our oceans does play a part in these weather-related disasters. As the Earth's inner core continues to heat up, it causes the oceans to warm, resulting in consequential melting of the ice sheets, thus leading to more ocean acidity and the massive die-off of coral reefs and marine life, as the ocean's conveyor belt slows considerably, creating drastic changes in our weather. It's all a part of that domino effect that I mentioned. But why is our Earth's core at the root of this global problem, rather than greenhouse gases, which NASA and the scientific community insists is the main culprit in these drastic Earth changes? Isn't it in our best interest to examine every possible aspect of a particular problem? Isn't it conceivable that there could be a magnetic disturbance from beyond that is somehow influencing the behavior of our planet's inner core? It certainly is within the realm of possibility, and given everything that we know and understand about the changes now occurring on the planet, it has become more conceivable. I've experienced rampant flooding firsthand this year and have been able to tell my story about its devastating effects. But there are many stories similar to mine. They are just as devastating and as painful as what I encountered. Take a look at this incredible footage of the December flooding in Malaga, Spain. It tells a story of just how vulnerable we are to these disasters, irregardless of our surroundings. If the Earth's core is under the influence of a magnetic disturbance, it will exert great pressure within the Earth's mantle. This overexerted core can lead to another form of devastation that could have long-term implications for the planet. The recent increase in volcanic activity should be a major concern for all life on Earth. Already in 2016, there have been dozens of volcanoes erupting within a very short time frame, and the numbers are increasing as the year comes to an end. What does this imply? That something has to give from below the surface of the Earth. If any number of volcanoes were to erupt in unison or in sequence, the ash cloud emitted into our atmosphere could spread quickly across the globe by the prevailing winds and begin to block out the light from our sun, thus reducing global temperatures, resulting in what is known as a volcanic winter. If that were to happen, crops and vegetation would begin to wither and die, leading to massive crop failure, and ultimately to global famine with serious consequences for human civilization. The inhabitants of planet Earth then become the victims of the domino effect. We only have to journey back to the early 1800s to realize that the impossible can happen again, and with much greater consequences for humanity. Here is an incredible video capture of an immense eruption on Mount Rinjani in Indonesia in October of this year. It illustrates just how powerful these explosions can be and how easily we can be caught off guard as to their destructive abilities. There have been a couple of major developments with the Nibiru Nemesis system that I am examining at this time and hope to share with you in the coming week. But there is one major development that happened just recently that has garnered a great deal of attention in the past few days. On the 6th of December, an enormous fireball lit up the skies over both Norway and Siberia, virtually turning night into day. The meteor, which burnt in the atmosphere before hitting the ground, was witnessed by locals as it shook buildings and set off alarms. One witness said, "We saw a flash, and in about 2 minutes our houses vibrated and we heard thunder, and car alarms were going off." Another witness said, "There was a sudden luminescence. There was a huge meteor flying above the mountain. It had a tail. Frankly, I was scared. I thought that it was a bomb." Take a look at the intensity of this meteor just before it crashed to Earth. It is absolutely astonishing. Earth-shattering meteors and asteroids are lighting up our atmosphere on a consistent basis as the debris field of the approaching planetary system draws ever closer to the Earth. Those who witnessed this celestial event were awestruck by what they had seen and heard from the skies on this particular evening. Whatever is approaching, be it a large comet, asteroid, or planetary system, its effects are being felt across our planet. What we are witnessing in these times will only intensify as the celestial body draws nearer. I'll be presenting some new information that I recently received in the coming week or before the Christmas holiday. So please stay tuned to our YouTube